Hello, everyone. Welcome. Tonight, I'm jumping on for some more live readings. I know tonight is a little bit different because it's Tuesday and normally I'm on Thursday. I had to sort of switch up my schedule, so Tuesday night is the new night. Hopefully that will stick. I've been very firm on this cannot keep changing. So Tuesday night, I'm here. If you want to know kind of when I'm going to be on or you forget, visit my website and I have a little reminder up there. And also, on the last Tuesday, I'm going to have to make sure I catch myself right. The last Tuesday of every month, I'm going to be doing group Zoom calls with you guys. So if you want to learn how to use your psychic ability and you actually want to get out of the chat room and get face to face with everyone, we're going to get in a Zoom call. I'm going to give you guys exercises. This is not readings, but this is you guys doing practice with each other. So getting free readings from other people. They might not be the best readings, but you're practicing and you're giving readings yourself. $5 a person. Next week was supposed to be the last one of the month, but I'm actually doing a seance for a group that night. So this month is going to be canceled, but next month, last Tuesday of the month, which is April 27th, we'll be doing that group Zoom call. So if you want to learn how to exercise your abilities a little bit more, jump on with me that last Tuesday of every month. It'll be a monthly thing where we can just get on, practice, and kind of have these little breakout sessions where we, I give you a prompt, you guys work through it, we come back as a group, we kind of analyze what happened, and I give you guys tips and tricks. I did not clean up my space behind me. It's bugging me. Hey, everyone. Welcome. So if you are catching me replay, sort of the outline of the night is I do first a group message. So that's for everybody. And then I do individual readings. And if you're joining me live and you want an individual reading, you can donate to me through Venmo or PayPal. And I will make sure you guys get a reading, and you can see the description and how much and what that kind of gets you in my description. We are doing readings tonight. Hello, Marco. Hello, Missy. Thank you guys so much for joining me. But yeah, before I got into all of that, I just sort of wanted to talk a little bit. I don't know how many people live at least are in Colorado, but I know a lot of my subscribers are in Colorado here with me. And yesterday has been a very difficult time for a lot of us Coloradans. If you haven't heard, there was a shooting up here in Boulder County. I'm probably 45 minutes away from Boulder, so not even close to what happened, but I just felt like I needed to address it. And tonight, my guides were just like, the theme, the thing tonight is healing. And so my biggest thing is I wanted to give people, if you're from Colorado, even if you're not from Colorado, the stuff that's been happening lately, I wanted to give some sort of kind of group reading on that towards the beginning, because I felt like my guides were sort of pushing me to do that. But yeah, it's been very difficult. Some of the things that happen, especially with these shootings, I can shrug off, but being so empathic, and especially with this one being so close to home, this one has been very upsetting. And I have the tendencies to sometimes get glued to the news. And so I was just in all the negativity, and I was like, I need to get away from it. And I need to, just do some self-care stuff. And so I wanted to basically pass along some of those tips tonight. But yeah, super sad. And I think it's been stressful because I know 2 people who live up there, thank goodness, who are safe. But even then, it ripples out in your community. Somebody knows somebody. One of the people that died was in the theater community, and I'm not super active in the theater community, but I do have, being in film and video in my industry, a lot of those people tend to intermix. And so one of the people was an actor here in Colorado. Super sad. So if you are joining me from Colorado, just know to kind of break away from the news every now and then, take care of yourself. Know that when you're in that negativity a lot, it can sort of attract more. So if, at the very least you say, well, I need to take a bath, do whatever to make myself feel a little bit better. Even if it's the excuse of, so that I don't manifest more of this. I hope that helps. So really quick, just group reading for everyone tonight, and sort of specifically targeting those of us who are hurting the most from all of this. I just want to ask our guides how we can heal. And even if you're listening and this doesn't quite apply to you, just know that, if it does resonate, a lot of the times I find that our spiritual helpers like to kind of hit a lot of us in once. So if it resonates, it can definitely be a message for you also. Alrighty. So we are into the unknown right now, and every time I hear the song, I want to sing the Frozen song, "Into the Unknown." Into the unknown. We don't know what the future holds for us right now, and that's okay, because this card is upright, and this is saying that right now we're so stuck in the moment, we can't see into the future, especially with all the stuff that's going on, and so we're very stuck in, oh my gosh, how is this happening? Why is this happening? Is it just going to keep going on? And I think that this is a good omen. So it looks scary. This woman's blindfolded. She doesn't know what's around the corner. But the great thing about this card is saying, have hope. There is hope around the corner. There, you might not be able to see it or understand how it's going to happen, but it's definitely coming. Coming apart. And this might be almost too soon, is what I'm hearing. But in the lessons that we have to learn when we lose people, we have to learn. This is a very hard lesson, is what they're saying, but they're being very direct with me. And they're saying, and they, I mean my guides, and they're saying what happens is you have to come away from those people. You have to lose people in order to understand bigger lessons about love, about family, about relationships. And so coming apart from those people can be, I don't want to use the wrong words here, but there will be a benefit. It might not be something you can see now, but there's a lesson, there's a meaning, there's something that comes out of everything. And again, that's a lot. That's very hard to see in the moment. But, reading for people who have lost family members years and years ago, they'll find out, all of these sorts of things, and they'll have a better relationship with that person in spirit, or, they'll look back at the time in their lives as not being so, they'll have healed from it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it'll be a lot easier for them to look back and be like, oh yeah, I did learn a lot from that. I learned to be around my family more. I learned to not keep people at such a distance. Or I learned, that the people I was spending time with were not the best people, and I should have been spending it with these people over here. So coming apart from people, losing things is just like what I'm hearing from this. This is like, I like to think of this card as like you moving away from something else, but it can also be you losing something else. I think there's a message of hope in here, and knowing that one day it will make sense. And then this final card is Compass, and this is kind of, this is the Enchanted Map Oracle deck, and this is kind of like the main card for this deck. It's kind of like the theme. And it's all about, and I talk about this in my readings all the time, like what's your anchor, what's your compass pointed towards? And if your compass is constantly pointed towards, negativity or hate or the news, in my case, then you're going to attract more of that. And so as hard as it is to get out of that, and, not negating the fact that people need to grieve or people need to, go through their own process of healing, it's more of a gentle reminder is what I'm hearing of where are your thoughts leading you, and where are your actions leading you also. So taking care of yourself, doing those little things here and there is going to help, and it's going to point you in that right direction. It's going to point you into the direction of healing and moving forward. Glad it resonates, Brittany. And I know I was kind of like, oh, should I do this? Because not everyone here is probably going to be in Colorado, but I was like, I just feel like I got to, because maybe there's going to be one person that does see this who needs it. So yeah, I'm just feeling like one more card. Sad embrace. I pulled it in reverse. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Some of these decks actually have like two completely different meanings. Like they have the reverse and then they have the upright version. And so sometimes I don't have the reverse one memorized, but I know there's a very different meaning because she like intentionally made two very different like meanings for the upright and reverse. And that's how I chose to read them. Okay. And I think what this is saying, and this also goes for me, is like, yes, you need to heal. And yes, there's that sad embrace that you need to have. And there's this, you can't ignore all of those things that need to happen. It's not saying, toughen up and just move on. It's not saying that at all. But what it is saying is there are parts of us that hold on to something that we shouldn't in moments like this, whether that's watching the news way longer than you should, or maybe engaging in a self-destructive behavior like drinking or overeating or just not taking care of yourself or like answering phone calls or something like that. And it's just like that little part that is saying, yes, you need to move forward and embrace the sadness and deal with these emotions, but don't embrace the things that are harming you that deep down are not helping you at all. Yeah, I'm glad I pulled one more. That was great. That was a great message. Thank you, guys. I hope that helped whoever it needed to help. And again, feel free to reach out to me if you ever want a reading. But also know that sometimes a psychic can't always help with this. And sometimes you need to go see a professional, a counselor. And I'm definitely an advocate for that and for good mental health. And that's been something that I've been thinking about a lot with my channel. I feel an extreme responsibility to advocate good mental health and not use psychic ability as a replacement for it. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Cheyenne. And know also that this is not me trying to get like attention about it. Again, I'm not very close, but it's so close to home. Like I've been there. It's basically the King Soopers that you get off at when you first arrive in Boulder. It's just like, it's your first stop. You get gas there, you get your food there. And I've been there several times because I had, friends back in the day that went to that school. Actually, weirdly enough, when I started this sort of psychic journey, I was in film school and I wanted to make a documentary about psychics. And one of the psychics that I was filming was actually up there in Boulder. So I was constantly driving up there to film for her. And there's actually, Boulder is our huge metaphysical psychic community. Like Denver, pretty big, we're pretty liberal, but Boulder is like the hippy dippy tip of the top hippies. If you know Boulder, that's where the hippies live, and they're like the extreme hippies, and we love them for it. But that's why it's been so crazy. It's just, it doesn't seem like a place at all that would be targeted like this. Oh, I'm sorry, Brittany. That's really weird. I also lost somebody in October. It's been a big year of loss, for sure. I'm sorry, Brittany. That sucks. I know how that feels. Alrighty, so try to lighten the mood a little bit. Sorry, guys. All right, let's get into individual readings. So again, we'll do kind of fun little guessing games, and if you do want a reading, then send me a donation and we'll make sure you skip all that and get to a reading first. That's a good point, Brittany. And I think that's kind of that card that I was pulling of like the self-destructive stuff. Sometimes losing something you love can make you realize something completely different. And I think that was definitely part of tonight's message. Um, Mama Odie, I wouldn't be surprised if Boulder hasn't changed very much since you've been there. Boulder, they actually have a rule that you cannot build buildings up to a certain height because they want to always be able to see the flat irons, and they don't want to ruin the view. Like, there's so many hippy dippy things. I shouldn't call them that, but I mean, I say that lovingly. And that's actually where Gaia is located, the headquarters for Gaia, or Gaiam TV. If any of you know that, it's kind of like a huge, they put out videos, and I don't know if they do books, but all sorts of fun stuff up there. Oh, cool, Brittany. That's awesome. And it all happens for a reason. And it's hard to see that in the moment. It's definitely hard. But, my hope here is that this will help with some of the gun control laws and all of that. And not to get too political, but trying to find the silver lining in everything. All right. Let's do a color. If you can think of the color I'm thinking of, you get the reading. I can hear my son squealing upstairs. Too cute. He's squealing so loudly upstairs. He's finding his voice. Interesting. You guys haven't gotten it yet. If you can think of the color that I'm thinking of, you get the reading. And yeah, for those of you just joining, I am switching to Tuesday nights. I know that was an abrupt change tonight. But had to switch around stuff with my husband. We got new plans, new schedules, and Tuesday night's going to be the norm. And I'm hoping, I told him we got to stick to it. No changing Tuesdays. And Tuesday nights, nobody's gotten the color yet. The last Tuesday of the month will also be our group Zoom calls where we get on and practice with each other. So if you do want to sign up for next month's Zoom call, April, Mama Odie, Red, you got it. Mama Odie, let me know in the comments what your question is. But yeah, that last Tuesday will be dedicated to those who want to learn their psychic ability, those who actually want to practice face-to-face, get on video, and are comfortable doing that and comfortable messing up and just trying with somebody else, because we're all going to be, beginners to some extent and just practicing. So you can find that on my website. It's just kind of under the services page, under the coaching. I have like normal half-hour coaching sessions, but I also have that group call. So please join us. I've yet to have anybody sign up yet, but everyone has told me they would really want to do it, especially my Facebook group. If any of you are part of my Facebook group, that's dedicated to sort of like practicing. So I put up weekly things of like, hey, read this. Try to guess. And it's good to get practice, but only so much can be done online. And when you're forced to like do it real time with somebody else, it's crazy how much quicker that actually moves your psychic ability along. I can't even tell you. Reading from a book is one thing, but actually practicing with people in person, completely different. Heck yeah, Brittany. Are you having somebody else put things in that envelope? I'm glad you're trying. And this week, no, not this week, but next week's video will be a calendar exercise. My husband. Nice. That's a good husband. I think I remember in some of your comments, Brittany, you're like, my husband went out and bought me crystals. And I almost typed, that's a good husband. But then I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. Nice. Even better. Just waiting on Mama Odie's question. And then we'll move on to the next person's reading. But yeah, I'd love to have you guys next April. And my hope was that every time I kind of learn how to be a better coach for you guys live and we all get some practice to kind of do these breakout sessions, maybe like a group of like 2 or 3. You all read each other and just get one-on-one practice is so much more of a help than, again, just texting or using YouTube or any of that. Where should my spiritual focus be? I immediately heard on yourself. So what I'm getting is like, use the things that are going on in your life that you need help with to practice your psychic ability. Like maybe you're trying to help others too much, or maybe, I don't know, you're trying to like read other people, but it's more like use your stuff because that's going to help you anchor. I'm hearing anchor a lot in, oh, okay, I remember back then that was a really helpful tool for me, so I'm going to use it again. But I'll still pull the card. I'd love to have you, Missy. Even if it's just the 2 of us. We might be the only 2 people there. But strength. Where should your spiritual focus be? Strength. This is also very like a very worldly card. Earthy, I should say. Which is funny because now I'm getting like healing other people and healing those around you. But I think going even deeper into it, maybe you're having issues around confidence or feeling empowered, Mama Odie. Maybe they're trying to talk about the area of your life where you feel weakest. That could be in a relationship, that could be in work. But I think this is just going deeper on it. But basically what they're saying is, don't focus on anything external, focus on you. And there's something going on in your life that is revolving around strength, self-confidence. Maybe it's eating or just like general self-care. Maybe somewhere where you're not doing so good at. And it's like, use that as like an excuse to sit down and journey or to sit down and pull some tarot cards. And because it's more personal to you and you actually know what's going on, you're not reading somebody else, you're going to be able to not only understand the message and get help from it, but you're going to have a better understanding of how your psychic ability works. And that, like, I should say, I'm framing this all of like, this is like improving your psychic ability is kind of where they're focusing, improving that connection, because I don't feel like there's a huge problem or, something you're really bad at. It feels like, no, just strengthen that connection, make it clearer, make it more accurate, make it more reliable. And to do that, focus on some of the things that are going a little off in your life. And because of that, I think you're going to, it's just like, I don't know. It's hard to describe because I'm just feeling it. It's like that moment when you're getting messages for yourself and you're just like, oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And then it's like in the future when you're reading for somebody else or you're coming back to yourself for a different sort of spiritual exercise, you're like, this is like that one time I should do this. And I think they're also saying it's twofold, because whatever it is that you're asking about help with in regards to like this inner strength will also be solved at the same time. So I feel like that's vague, but I hope I described it well. And normally when they give me such broad strokes, like I feel like usually that means that there's not such a huge, big thing. Like you're not doing anything wrong. It feels more just like minute kind of nitpicking, if that makes sense. I hope that helps, Mama Odie. And again, guys, and I've gotten out of the habit of saying this, but if something doesn't resonate, I could be wrong. You know, it is okay. Throw it in the trash. Take my advice like you would a friend's advice. At the end of the day, you make the decision. If I just confuse you more, ignore what I have to say. Trust your own gut. Awesome. Let's do another one. Gotcha. Well, and Mama Odie, I think they're framing it in, don't think so much about the issue itself. Use it as an excuse to strengthen your psychic ability and practice doing a shamanic journey or practice doing some automatic writing. And it's like, it's the second part of it. It's like the sub thing that they're trying to get to, but they really are like, no, come at it from, no, I want to get better at using clairvoyance or clairaudience, whatever it is. I think that will help you not only get clear information and you'll trust it more, but you'll also just improve your ability more too. I can tell that I threw people off by getting on Tuesday nights because I have way less people in here, which is good for you guys. More chance of getting a reading, huh? All right, I'm going to do another color. If you can think of the color that I'm thinking of, then you get the reading. I'm trying to think. Use your clairvoyance. Try to see the color. You could ask to hear it. Hear the word. Maybe it just comes to you super fast. That's claircognizance. Well, it used to be Thursday as of last week. Now it's Tuesday as of tonight. I just today changed this. So I know it's going to take a while for everyone to understand, but that's why it's helpful to turn those notifications on if you want to see me again. Also, if you are really interested in learning about your psychic ability, I do have video courses on them. I talk about them a lot in my videos, but love to have you guys as students there, and it just helps kind of consolidate all the information. I purposely spread all the information thin on my channel because it's free, but I want to make sure that when you buy my course, you get all of it in one spot, and it's a lot. Nobody's gotten the color yet. Does anybody follow me on Instagram? I shouldn't ask you guys this at the same time, but I got 4 new things that I bought that I'm just so excited to use. And I want your guys' opinion on which to do first. Thanks, Brittany. I filmed it a while ago, and one day long-term goal is to re-update them, make them a little bit nicer looking, pack even more information into them. That's going to be a ways down the line. Nobody's gotten it. Guess the color. Guess the color. But yeah, I bought a new card game that it's literally like a card game party game. And the goal is to try to read each other's minds. And that's how you play and you win. And I saw it at Target of all places, and I was like, oh, I'm buying this. Nobody's gotten the color yet. Once somebody guesses it, you guys are gonna be like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I got a card game, and then I also got Zener cards, which is, I don't know how old it is. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research, but they're Zener cards that are basically kind of a more expensive version of the playing card video that I did. You buy them, and they have special symbols and colors on them, and you try to guess what's on them. Very similar to the playing card video, but Cheyenne, white, you got it. Cheyenne, let me know in the comments what your question is. What was I going to say? The Zener cards. Yeah, but the Zener cards are basically a very specific type of card made specifically for, they call them ESP cards, which is basically just telepathy, psychic ability, trying to guess what's on the cards. But if you don't want to go out of your way to buy them, which they're kind of really hard to get a hold of, then you can just use playing cards. But I'm going to do a fun version of that anyway, because they do come with several colors beyond just the black and the red. And so they can be used just a little bit differently. I hope they help, Mama Odie. Battleship. Oh, Brittany, that's such a good idea. That's basically a guessing game. Oh, Brittany, that is such a great, I might have to steal that idea. That is so, I never thought about using other types of normal games to guess. I mean, that's basically what we're doing now when you guys are trying to get the reading. What do my spirit guides want me to know or focus on right now? They want me to use a different deck. Pulling out my Tarot of the Divine, which I haven't done a video review on yet. I like to play with the cards a little bit before I do video reviews on them. Yeah, Go Fish is basically the playing card video that I just put up. That's half of, that's like one of two exercises that I gave. And if you buy the 90-day psychic cards, which I've told you guys about, that my mentor Karen Fox made, she purposely has colors in the back to play that Go Fish game. But yeah, Go Fish, Battleship. I'll have to think of other ideas. It would be fun to just play with them and try to see if you could guess correctly. But that party game is supposed to be exactly that. So I'm actually getting together with Bliss Findings. She's on my suggested channels list on my page. She's my good friend here in Colorado, and she does like yoga and Reiki and stuff. And we're going to get together next Monday, and we're going to film together. We're going to film using a Ouija board, and then we're going to film using that party game. And I'm really excited to see how that goes. I hope it turns out well. It's going to be complicated filming two people and a game at once. I don't even know how I'm going to edit it, but we'll figure it out. Okay, what do my spirit guides want me to know or focus on right now? They wanted this deck. They want me to pull multiple cards. Pick one, because I have to be fair to everyone. I've been very bad about pulling multiple cards from multiple people. So I'm reshuffling because I'm telling them I only want one. Bam, that one. But they're saying there's more. I knew this card was going to come, Cheyenne. I knew it. I was thinking about this card as I was shuffling. This is like the only card I've ever pulled out of this deck. This card is all about, I've almost memorized it now. This is about self-empowerment. This is about climbing up that ladder of hard work. But it's also not getting down about yourself. It's knowing that slow and steady wins the race is immediately what I'm hearing. Thinking of a turtle, Cheyenne, for you. The turtle sort of represents that. It's like is it the hare and the tortoise and the hare, that sort of story. And so I think you're getting worried. I'm not getting there fast enough. I'm not getting there yet. And saying, don't give up, don't go down. It's taking small steps. And that's something that is such a hard concept for a lot of us, because we live in a day and age now where we can get everything we want like this. We get online, we get this, we get that. We order from Amazon, it comes in tomorrow. Your phone, it gives you all of these things at your fingertips. And so one of the things I think often a lot of us millennials struggle with is slow and steady. Like, yes, you have to put in the time and you have to put in the work, but you're not always going to see results next day. And so that's just coming through really strong for you, Cheyenne. So it's like partly a message of breathe, calm down, it's okay, it's going to happen, but it's also a message of hope in that, you're gonna get there, you are manifesting it, it's just not gonna be tomorrow. And I'm feeling like this has to do with like career, or maybe like your, not even career, but just like the goals you're trying to make money wise, if that's like something creative that you're doing. I'm not sure what that is. Like I'm seeing like social media or something, I don't know. It's like your personal thing that you want to put out there in the world, and it's not getting you results fast enough, like enough followers, or you're not making enough sales, and it's just like I'm getting that like you're just not quite there yet. And so they don't want you to give up and go backwards and restart, because when you go backwards and restart, you basically have to start at a new ladder, but you're even lower, if that makes sense. And they're showing me this person that I know in my life who I always want to shake him, because he's one of those people that he starts up the ladder and he starts to see success, but then it like tapers off, or it's not happening as fast as he wants. And so he thinks it's the ladder that's the problem. And so he jumps off of it, restarts everything, jumps onto a new ladder, gets to about the same spot, and then is like, same thing, gets frustrated that it's not happening quick enough. And it's like, if you would have just stuck with that same first ladder, you would have already been a lot further than you are now with all these other things that you've half finished, if that makes sense. So yeah, sometimes, and I was giving a reading this weekend, and I don't know how many other people get this when they are giving psychic readings, but a lot of times my guides will point me to moments in my life where I've learned a lesson, or where I'm frustrated with somebody, or I've seen somebody doing something, and it's like they'll even reference cards I've used in the past for other people. And it's just like whatever is the quickest way to get that information to me. And maybe they know, oh, she really remembered the message when we gave it to her this way, so just remind her of that. And so that's when I often get like messages around that, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this happened to my brother, or this happened to this. And it's an interesting way that I've noticed that I get messages. You're welcome, Cheyenne. Hey everyone, if you're just joining us, we are doing fun little guessing games, and if you guess whatever I'm thinking, then you get the reading, and I pull a card for you. But if you don't want to wait, send me a donation, and let me know if you do, because I still have I don't have super chat yet, but if you let me know if you donated on PayPal or Venmo, I'll get you a reading. See, and I'll probably be on for a little bit longer. So yeah, let's do another guessing game. Oh, I did that last week. I can't say that. Wait, I have a list here, so I will remember. Okay. I'm thinking of a number between 25 and 50. If you can guess the number that I'm thinking of, you get the reading. Yes, that is me. Well, and I was being harsh because I'm so frustrated with this friend of mine, because I've told them, it's like, just stick with it. You're so good at what you do. Just stick with one of them. Heidi, whoa, 32, bam, first one. Heidi, nice job. Heidi, let me know in the comments what your question is. And if anyone ever gets a reading twice, basically what I ask is that they just pass it along to somebody else. That hasn't happened yet tonight, but just a fun way to make sure we get to as many people as possible. So if you're new here, please subscribe. I'm also on Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram, but your subscription helps me so much. Your comments help me so much. I am so close to getting monetized. Okay. I feel stuck in my spiritual journey in work. Any suggestions? Okay. They want me to use this deck. I'm gonna grab all my decks tonight. they're telling me, they're like, we want more cards. And I'm like, I know, but I have to keep the spare. Or else I could go on all night. Give me one out of this, please. I've been thinking about doing a video on our spiritual helpers and how sometimes they can be not only mythical, but beings that are like from fictional like books that we've read. Like, do any of you guys have a guide that is from like a movie or a TV series or a book that you've read? Thank you, Pan K, which is funny. Pan's literally your name is what gave me this idea, because one of my guides is like legitimately Peter Pan. And I know that sounds crazy, and I'm sure that guide is not actually Peter Pan, but he feels and he looks and he talks like Peter Pan to me. And I think it's because I resonate so much with that image. And so that guide, you know, even if he wasn't that before, it could have just been a being in general, but that being comes in and helps me with certain things and takes on that image because I resonate with it. And so I'm always embarrassed to say that, but then I'm like, you know, I tell people they have mythical creatures as guides, if they can believe that. Anyway, I feel stuck in my spiritual journey and work. Okay, so Heidi, what I pulled is the Damsel card. My light is really bright, sorry. So this is my archetype deck. I call this my hard-hitting deck because it always tells me things I don't want to hear. And basically this whole deck, and if you guys ever want to know like any of the decks I use or anything, any products that I share, I have them all on my website. So you can just go find the link there. So each of these cards is basically like a personality trait is how I like to describe it. If you haven't heard of the Jungian archetypes. So what I got for you, Heidi, is Damsel. And so this is something that you struggle with in your career, because that's what I asked, like what's the block here? And so with these cards, you can kind of see if I turn it, there's a light attribute and a shadow attribute, because there's good sides and bad sides to being some of these things. For example, the mentor card, there's a good side to being a mentor and there's a bad side. The bad side being like giving people false information, or, you know, getting a kick out of like having all these people follow you for the wrong reasons. But the good mentor is somebody who helps, somebody who educates, gives correct information. So Heidi, as far as like work, the Damsel, what I'm feeling like here is that the thing you go back and forth on is feeling like you have to be rescued or you have to be saved. And so that's kind of the shadow attribute of the Damsel. It's waiting for somebody to provide for you, somebody to come in and fix things. Or maybe it's just that you are in your tower dreaming of better things and you're so focused on something else that you're not being present. This doesn't necessarily mean you have to leave or you have to be completely providing of yourself, but it's just an awareness of it. And what you go back and forth between is both that and then the light side, which is relying on yourself, basically. It's not being that damsel. It's saving yourself, being independent. And so kind of how I'm interpreting this card is saying, okay, well, how does that apply to her work? And I would say maybe, and I'm this way in workout also, you know, are you, Heidi, and I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, that's okay, you can tell me. Are you sitting around and waiting for something better? Are you sitting around and waiting for somebody else to make the money so that you can just quit and leave? And that's how I feel like I've been with my other job that I have. I'm just like, I need something else to give me money so I could just leave this job already. What I want to be doing is this YouTube channel and all these psychic readings, and that's it. But at the same time, I know that I need to make money. I know that I need to work. And so knowing that I have to rely on myself, I can't wait to be saved. Just being that independent and self-empowered person when it comes to your work. I think is what's going to help you feel not stuck. And so maybe I would say, if you feel like this resonates, sit with it and examine, why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? Is it something that you can get yourself? Because I feel like whatever you think you don't have, you can actually have. There's nobody that's going to come in and fix it for you. Nobody that's going to come in and give you that raise or, even fire you. You have to ask for that promotion. You have to go and you have to get it. I want to pull more cards, but I'm just seeing if there's anything else. When I'm done with the reading, what I like to do is pull back and ask, is there anything else? I'm just hearing don't beat yourself up for this. Heidi, you waver between both of these. I need to be more in the moment. Yeah, well, and I think that we have a tendency to do that. We have a tendency when we don't like where we're at to dream and imagine where we could be. That's even better. And I don't think that's a bad thing, Heidi. That's a good compass, kind of what I was talking about before. It's use that to point where you do want to go, but don't ignore the problems that need to be fixed currently in the office. And maybe that's, you hate, and I'm just saying office because I'm assuming, but, you could be working on your own, but maybe there's a problem there with a coworker that needs to be fixed, or maybe it's that you really need to ask for a raise and you haven't asked for one in a long time. And so it's you can have both. You can go back and be present and deal with the things that are really bothering you so that day to day, it's not as bad. And they're showing me specifically when I decided to make a change with my company, my other film production company, we make videos for businesses. And I decided, I don't want to do this. I want to just live off my psychic stuff and not have to be here. And because of that, it felt like just dragging my feet through the mud with this job. And then as soon as I realized what was going on, I was like, you know what? I have to be here until I can replace this income. There's nothing else I can do about it. And so I just figured out what the problems were. And the problems were, you know what? I don't like being a salesperson. So I'm going to let somebody else do that. And so I fixed it. We kind of rearranged things around, hired some new people, and voila, that's no longer a problem. So kind of just giving you that as an example, Heidi. It's you can have both. You can still keep that vision and still move towards that, but at least make yourself happy where you're at right now. I think is kind of what this is saying. Trini, I'm starting to feel that way. And absolutely, if some of this resonates with others, definitely a message for you as well. Our guides like to hit as many of us as they can when they know we're listening. Can't say for sure if I have ever seen my guides, and not a worry if not. I just find it interesting. And before I was like, this is crazy, I'm seeing Peter Pan as my guide. But then I went to a class and we were doing pretend readings, which I'm going to teach you guys about one day. It's in my list of many videos I want to do. But they're called pretend readings, where you give each other fake readings. But surprisingly, you will see that those fake pretend readings actually are pretty accurate because you're not caught up in the outcome. You're not caught up in being right or wrong. Anyway, and so someone gave me a pretend reading and basically described this Peter Pan guide without saying his name, but was he's flying around you. It's a little kid. He's full of energy. He's here to help you with this. And I was just like, oh my gosh, how is this person seeing this? I've never even told them about this guide. And so I think one day I want to do a video on how your guides can be characters from books or characters from movies. And I think our guides change form so that they can better connect with us. And, if you don't resonate with a pig as a guide, they're not going to keep coming through as that, because they want to communicate with you and reach you, and they're going to do whatever they need to do to kind of communicate that message to you. And they're not stuck to any form. if that makes sense. So they can change that image. And really, when I say change that image, it's literally just what frequency are they sending you? What message are they sending you? And how is your filter picking it up? Because probably, honestly, how I see it, I'm going on a lot of tangents tonight, sorry. How I see it is that these spiritual helpers are just beings of light. Like, I just see light. I don't see any form at all. But when they call us up on their video call and they put up their image, they put a filter on so that we can just understand them better. And so their filter might be a horse, because you might really resonate with a horse, which reminds me, you guys, my baby has a spirit guide. How did I forget about this? I was tuning into him last night. I'll tell the story in a second. What was I saying? But yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do your guides or spirits, or your guides can be from books or movies. I need a pen. I'm having a lot of ideas right now, because when I'm in that flow state and I'm creative, it brings a lot of ideas to mind. Spirit guides, books. Okay, anyway. I don't know my guides either. And I do have a book. I have a video all about guides, so check it out if you're new here. The only one I see is this stereotypical gypsy woman. Interesting, Mama Odie. I wonder why that's what you see. Oh, bummer. Pancake. I feel like it's like pancake. Definitely check out some of my videos. Sometimes some ways that people teach just don't resonate with other people. Let's do another reading. Sorry. I want to do... No, that's too hard. Why not? I'm thinking of a movie. If you can think of the movie I'm thinking of, you get the reading. I'm trying to think of like really popular, like super mainstream movies. I just want to move this along. But while you're guessing, I'm going to tell you guys. I saw my son. He is 10 months old, almost. He has a spiritual guide. And I'm just like blown away, because I know he probably is too little to communicate with him. But I was in bed last night, just kind of drifting off in that sort of sleep. There, my backup. Thanks, Pan. Not The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, not Forrest Gump, not Aquaman, not Avengers, not Harry Potter, not Iron Man. I'll give you more of a hint. It was made in the 70s and 80s. I'll give you more hints too. I don't want to keep it dragging on forever. Practical Magic. That's a good one. I am actually, I've only done one review video where I watch like movies and I kind of stop and I break down the scenes and tell you guys what's real and what's not. But Practical Magic is on my list of one of the ones I want to break down. Star Wars, Mama Odie, you got it. So Mama Odie, if you can't tell from all the Star Wars things behind me, that my husband loves this. House Party, I haven't seen that one. It's interesting how you guys are naming a lot of my favorites. I wonder if you guys are picking up on some of the other favorites that I have. What was I going to say? So Mama Odie, since Mama Odie already got a reading, what I'm going to ask her to do is pass it to somebody else who hasn't gotten one yet. So Mama Odie, you can just pick somebody from the list. I just want to make sure that everyone, so that, not one person gets all the readings from the night. Because that totally happened back when I was originally doing these on Periscope. Like one person, I gave them all the readings that night. And I was like, you know what, that wasn't the fairest. I saw it in theaters when it came out. Mama Odie, that's so awesome. I, to be honest, wasn't a Star Wars fan until it got transferred to Disney. And then I was like, I love this. I'm a huge Disney nerd. When my oldest was a toddler, she told me she used to have lots of brothers and sisters. She described buses in Mexico and Central America. Interesting, Mama Odie. That is too cool. So Mama Odie's going to pick somebody else to pass her reading off to. because I'm making her. Thank you, Mama Odie. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I was kind of drifting off. And when I drift off, that's when I notice a lot of things in my house. Like I'll notice when I let in a spirit and they're kind of wandering around and I'm like, get out. That happens a lot at night. And I saw a spirit down in my son's room and I was like, get out. Absolutely not. And a horse came in just galloping, this big muscular horse. And he like kicked this, like headbutted this spirit out. And then he just like sealed the room and he's like guarding it. And I'm like, who are you? And he was like, I'm with your son. And I was like, what? And he was like, I'm guarding it. I got it. You don't need to do any of your stuff. I got him. And I was just like amazed that this was happening. And then what happened? I think, and I just asked, I was like, well, so are you here? Are you new? Like, how does a 10-month-old have a guide? And he was just like, point blank, like, we've met each other before. Like, we've worked together. Like, we've been with each other before. He knows me. He might not know me in this life, but he knows me. And it was very, like, dismissive, like, I don't need to tell you who I am. And he was like, I've got, we've been together before. It was so interesting. I totally forgot to tell my husband that. Go for it, Pan. Thank you, Mama Odie. All right, so Mama Odie passed her reading on to Pan. Pan is my brother in the light. I love him. Pan, can you give me a name if you're comfortable with that? I just have a lot of spirits here. I just kind of want to hone in on him better. Yeah, Kelly, that is honestly a lot of hair, like cat hair. It looks like orbs, but I see it with my eye in front of me and it's like hair. It's just the way the light catches. I mean, there definitely might be some orbs that I'm not paying attention to, but there's been a few that I'm like, cat hair. I have a husky and 2 cats. Prague. Okay. See, like that was a little hair, but I don't know what that other thing was. Pan, I say what I get, and I'm getting not so much. And I don't want to lie to you and say that he is. But just know, and if you've watched my video on what happens when people die, sort of how I see it, it's not a definitive line of I've touched this line and now I'm perfectly better and I've crossed over and I'm fantastic. What I see it as is it's this progression and people move back and forth. And this happened last October, Brittany, with my cousin who I lost. We were talking about that earlier. And how I saw him was one day he would be better. And then the next day I would tune into him and he would be much worse. And I was just like, I've never had this experience before. But I was also tuning into somebody who had literally just passed. So, a lot of times when I'm tuning into somebody who's passed for a long time, those moments don't really come up because it's not so much of a struggle. And even if it was, like, our guide or that person isn't like, oh yeah, I struggled for like 2 weeks. They're more usually on the side of like, I'm fine. I'm fine now. That's all you need to know. And so Pan, when I say I don't feel like he's completely in the light, I don't feel like he's completely unburdened. I feel like he's still going back and forth. I feel like he's getting sucked back into, just kind of darkness is what I feel. Doesn't mean he's in danger. He's definitely in a better place now than he is here, which is what I like to say. It's just he's struggling with guilt. He's struggling with emotions. He's struggling with the fact that he is where he is. He's beating himself up a lot, Pan. That's the main thing. Again, doesn't mean, and to answer your question, how can you make sure he is moving forward? I would say watch that video that I did, and I think I'm trying to remember the title, but It's something along the lines of like, what happens when spirits die suddenly? I think that's what it is. And basically what I talk about in that video is, yeah, send him love and light. Imagine a bubble of light around him. Tell him good, positive things. And just know, Pan, that you can help, but you are not completely responsible. You are not, what am I trying to say? You're not responsible, yes, one, but you cannot make the difference of him moving forward or not. And kind of how I see it is, when we move on, we have to sort of deal with the fact that we're gone. And what does this look like? And do I want to accept that? And so, we can do as much as we can for them. But end of the day, ultimately, it's their journey. Again, I'm not feeling super scared about it or anything. He will get there. I would just keep sending him love, send him light, tell him how awesome he is, how awesome he was, tell him it's okay to move on, tell him, I'm trying to do this quickly, but I also don't want you to leave feeling worse, but sometimes that happens again, because I do not want to lie. I think talking to him, Pan, is going to be the best. Talking, in your head or out loud, because when you say, please give him my love, he hears you, but he's not in contact with a lot of us here. And so I think he's so like consumed in whatever happened or what that guilt is or that fear is that's still there. But as soon as you talk to him, or as soon as I talk to him, it pulls him out of it. So just talk to him, send him love, tell him it's okay. I'm still going to pull a card for you. I want to ask, what's the biggest thing we can do to help him? Again, watch that video, Pan, because I give all sorts of things that I can't remember at the moment, and I don't want to, waste like 20 minutes talking about it. And that's perfect, Pan. I think that definitely helps. I think that was more hair. Moonlight. It's funny that you said the lamp thing, because I feel like the lamp thing actually really helps, because I'm seeing like this moonlight card. I asked, okay, how can we help him? And I'm getting to communicate with him at night. Which, really shouldn't matter for him when you're communicating, but for you, it's going to help you more to connect with him. Maybe because it's quieter, maybe it's because you're more in tune with that. It is a pretty card, isn't it? And there's also an owl up here, which is all about intuition. So that's why it's like coming back to talking to him. I want to just keep giving you all the resources, Pan, but I hope that helps. Know that he will get there. He will get there. And I'm even hearing like asking him questions, like as if he were here. Like, what are you hung up on? What are you so worried about? What is holding you back? And Pan, don't be surprised if you hear answers back or you get answers back. Even try maybe some automatic writing or something. Maybe figure out what it is that's holding him back and forgive him for those things, or tell him, not that he needs that from you, but sometimes we just need to hear that from somebody else, because I feel like he's just reliving that moment. And that's sometimes what happens with, spirits that are past, is they just get stuck reliving. Some of them can get out of that just fine. Others have a harder time, but that doesn't mean that just a little bit of coaxing from us will help reframe their mind a little bit. Also reminds me, I actually took a shamanic weekend course on death and dying. And so a lot of the advice that I have in that video comes from that. But I wanted to make an additional video kind of around that. Basically, the whole weekend we were assisting people who were stuck and helping them move on. And we had all these shamanic practices on how to help do that. They were actually surprisingly very physical, very ritualistic. And that's not usually how I am, but it was super helpful. I do have a shamanic video up, and I do walk you guys through how to do a shamanic journey. Shamanic journeying is my absolute favorite. It is my go-to. Freaking love it. I can't explain it. But I've been to this lady's courses. She does like weekend workshops where it's like all day we are journeying. And in between each journey, we take like a water break, we like journal, and then we go back into it and we take lunch. But that course was just literally life-changing. And I'm actually thinking about kind of refreshing it once COVID passes and I can go back to it. Anyway, so I do have kind of an introduction to what shamanic journeying is, if you're interested. Also a video. That's one of my older videos. So you might have to do some digging, but if you search shamanic journeying, you'll find it. But Pan, just know he will get there. Like, once you are crossed, you can really only move forward. You might take a few steps back, but you will get there. My cousin definitely had that. It was, within the first 3 weeks, it was just this constant back and forth. But, I worked with him. A lot of psychics kind of worked with him that I knew, because, of course, I'm talking to all my psychic friends. And several of my family members were going to psychics. So he got a lot of feedback and a lot of help from us on this side to move forward. And sometimes that's all they need. You say a hopuno? Is that the Hawaiian one? I think that might be the Hawaiian one. Nice. I'm sure, Pan, that you'll get it. I think also know that sometimes the grief can get in that way and help and kind of hinder you from feeling like you can connect, but you will get there one day. I'm just now seeing Brittany's comment. Yes, they always hear you. I like hope. I can never say it. How the heck do you say that? Hopa, nopa, no. I did it once, but I cannot remember it. Awesome. So if you're just joining me, you guys, how I do my readings is I play a guessing game. If you can guess the thing that I'm thinking of, then you get the reading. If you don't want to wait, send me a donation. I'm probably going to hop off here in like 20 minutes. So if you want to do that, get those in now. And if you do give me a donation, I make sure that you guys get a reading. And all of those donations go to me funding my own tarot deck. I've got several of the cards made and just kind of trying to get the rest of them made as I go. You're welcome, Pan. All right. Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono. I guess it'll work. You're thinking New Zealand chocolate. What was I talking about? You guys, New Zealand chocolate. Freaking. Ugh. You can buy it on Amazon. I didn't realize that until after we left, but it's so good. Bliss Findings, you guys. If you want to learn about yoga, go to Bliss Findings channel. Again, she's the one that I'm going to be making I've got some new videos coming your way. We're going to play around with the Ouija board next Monday, and we're also going to play that medium party game that I was talking about. So just some fun little reviews and how-tos on how to use those products. But really excited to introduce you guys to Bliss Findings officially on my channel. But if you want to introduce yourself to her now, just go over to her channel. And I know you texted me, Lindsay, but I haven't gotten back to you yet. But I'll get back to you. I was in the middle of this. You're thinking. What was I saying? Okay, so new reading. If you can guess what I'm thinking of, you get the next reading. And I'm thinking of, I'll just do a number again. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 25. I'm tired. After the IV stuff that you did, I wonder if that's draining. Number between 1 and 25. If you guess right, you get the reading. Pretty pixies thrown in multiples. Nobody's gotten it yet. I see a lot of new names, though. If you are new here, please subscribe. I put out videos. I do a live video every Tuesday now. And then I do a kind of recorded video where I teach you guys a lot about what I do, kind of developing your psychic ability or psychic gifts, if you want to call it that. And yeah, so subscribe. Brittany, you got it. Bam. Brittany, I feel like you've gotten one every single night for like the last 2 weeks. Brittany, it was 4. Let me know in the comments what your question is. And again, if you guys don't want to wait, send me a donation and I will make sure that you guys get a reading. I just keep sitting here and shuffling these cards. You guys, I got my COVID vaccine. Woo! I'm so excited. Brittany, I wasn't saying you needed to pass it off. That was only if you get it in the same night. You don't have to pass it off, Brittany. You can still take it. Sorry, I should have clarified what I was saying there. Do you still want it, Brittany? Normally, I only make you pass it off if you guess it same twice in the same night. I really don't mind. Awesome. Thank you, Brittany. You rock. Okay, Prixty. What was your question? I know you threw it up there before, but oh, maybe you didn't. Never mind. Oh, goodness. I will kick you out if you start that crap. All right, kicking you out. How do I still haven't figured out. It has, I can remove the message. I can report the message. I can put them in timeout. I can hide them. I don't know if any of them blocks it. Pretty Pixie, let me know in the comments what your questions are. It's like all these, like, Lauryn did this. And that's actually, so I'm going to sit down and record a ton of new videos for you guys tomorrow. I like to just get them all recorded at once. I kind of prep them all. But one of the videos I'm going to do tomorrow is sort of like a disclaimer video. And I was sort of talking about this earlier about, you know, I am psychic. I teach you guys on my channel to do some pretty weird stuff. But at the same time, I believe in using your logical mind. I believe in being skeptical. I believe in science. I believe in professionals that know more than me. And so if you're looking to come onto my channel and be validated for some craziness, I'm not going to be that person. You know, even though some people will be like, well, doing psychic work is crazy. But I've had just a lot of instances lately that I feel like I need to sort of clarify of like, go to a professional if this is not working for you. I'm kind of wanting to hear from my grandfather, but then I'll ask if my wedding will all go to plan. Let's pick one and I'll try to do grandfather. Oh, here, let me just feel. He doesn't seem like he would be very talkative. He's sort of like, yeah, I'm here, but what do you want? He's very like shy and he's kind of standing like way in the back of the room here, like doesn't want to be the center of attention. just kind of tuning in. First, I tune into personality, and kind of get their overall energy. Hello, Taylor. He's like hands in his pockets, kind of like hunched over. Tell me if I'm getting kind of that energy right, pretty pixie, or pixie. Yeah, that sounds about right. He's not going to be one to offer up any communications, I guess, unless he's asked first. Sorry, I'm just so thrown off by that light in the world person. They made me so angry. I've been dealing with anti-vaxxers too much in the last couple of weeks, and they piss me off. I need to let it go. It's getting in my way. Yeah, he doesn't have very much to say. I'm like, do you have anything you want to say? He's like, no. So I'm thinking, is there a question I can ask him? I'll just ask him. So I was talking to him about kind of your wedding, and he's like, yeah, I'll be there. Just, it's like one word answers. Okay. So I asked him how will you know, because I think Pixie, you want to connect with him because you miss him, and he's your grandfather, and I think you're struggling to connect with him because he's so soft spoken, and he's like not ever gonna announce himself because he's like, no, I don't need to do that, we can talk later, sort of thing. And so I'm asking him how you'll know if he's around. He immediately like reached into his pocket and is like pulling out something, cards, cigarettes, something tangible, which to me says you're going to see something physically, and be reminded of him, some object that you associate with him. I don't know if it could be like cigarettes, it could be, my grandfather always had pens in his pocket, and it'll be something like you're walking around and you'll see those, pens in an old guy's pocket, or you might see a deck of playing cards that, your grandpa always had in his pocket or something like that. It's not necessarily like pocket related, but it's something very physical. Like that's what it is coming across, as it's something physical that will remind you of him, which is not surprising that he's suggesting that, because he's so like, he doesn't seem like the one to communicate with you in your dreams, or like even honestly come through very clearly speaking to you. And I mean, I could be wrong about that. It could just be my connection with him. But it feels like he'd rather just kind of like point to something and be like, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. When you see that, you'll remember me. I'm sorry I don't have more to give. He's doing great. He's fine for sure. That's probably it. Because I saw something square and I saw him like holding it and I couldn't tell what it was, which is why I guessed cigarettes. But if I'm saying playing cards and that's like resonating and you're like, oh my gosh, a card and is right next to you, he's probably trying to give you some sort of confirmation to let you know that he's there. He's using me as the kind of that middleman tool. And there you go, something physical that he will use to sort of remind you. So maybe you put that card up in your house or something, or maybe you put it away and it kind of pops back up and you're like, oh, that's my grandpa. And although you might not be able to feel him, I feel like he will be there. Like that's his way of communicating with you. Or even if like you're in a bookstore and you're just like, you see a birthday card and you just like instantly think of him, even if that birthday card looks nothing similar, that's also him. It's like something physical, I think, is going to help that's going to be his like sign. And it doesn't have to be just that. It could be other things that you see that remind you of him. Like my grandpa had an old projector. And so sometimes when I see old projectors, like in a thrift shop or something like that, it's like I instantly think of him, and I know that's him coming in and talking to me. But so crazy. Too funny. Excuse me. All right, let's do maybe another reading or two. I don't think spirits are attached to old things like we are in this reality. That's not true. Some of them definitely are. But most aren't. The ones that are not fully crossed, fully passed, fully unburdened, fully lightened. I talked about that in that video of how I don't like using that word, but it's very hard to describe what I see spirits as being. They become less burdened, they become lighter, they become brighter, they become less dense. And one of the first times that I ever encountered with like an aggressive spirit, I was in an antique store, and I was walking through the basement, and this spirit just came freaking loud and clear at me. And I had just come from doing a psychic course, so I was like super crazy open. But he just came at me, and I could feel him like physically, like right next to me. And I thought somebody at first, like I saw him in my peripherals, and I thought someone was in the basement. Like I thought there was another customer with us. And like when I had all these interactions with him, I asked my husband, I was like, was there somebody else down here? Like I felt like there was another couple or something. My husband was like, no, it's just us. But that spirit was so like, I don't know what it was in that room, but he was like, this should not be here. This is my stuff. And he was so pissed. And he was just trying to be aggressive and get people away from his stuff. And that's a spirit that I would say is definitely not crossed over. He's so concerned about something in his past life that he was just angry about it. Definitely not a cross spirit, or a cross spirit would definitely not have that type of attachment though at all. So point being, if you move your grandparents' crap around, they don't care. They really don't care about that stuff anymore. They'd be like, what? What? A blue handkerchief? I don't give a crap. Take it. Thank you, Taylor. Let me double check. Yeah. Come on, phone. Taylor, thank you. Awesome. Taylor, let me know what question you have. Since you sent me a little bit more, you can ask 3 questions. Up to you if you want, or if you don't have 3 questions and you'd rather just go in depth on something, just let me know. Absolutely. Thank you, Prixty. And please subscribe, everyone who's new tonight. I'm on every Tuesday doing live readings. I'm going to be up tomorrow, cramming a bunch of new videos, filming a bunch of new videos tomorrow, filming videos with Bliss Findings on Monday. She always pops in for like 2 seconds and then she pieces. She's always like, I'm here. Then she goes. But what was I saying? But yeah, I don't know if you guys, or does that have anything to do with it? No, that doesn't have anything to do with it. If any of you guys have watched my video on clairaudience is psychic hearing. It's about hearing, spirits' voices. It's about hearing psychic information. And there's this fine line between, is it psychic and is it schizophrenia? And, my mentor talked to me a lot about that. And in our courses, and she would always say, know the difference. But I still don't quite know that difference. And I'm finding that as I create more videos and attract more people, I'm attracting people who are saying that they are schizophrenic. And if this is anyone in live or watching replay, like no judgment there. I'm having a moral dilemma of knowing kind of how to deal with this, because I do not want to be giving the wrong people the wrong resources. And so I've been very torn up about it lately because I do not want to I don't want to tell people to talk to the spirits that they're hearing in their head if it's really schizophrenia, because that is hearing voices in your head that your brain is literally not working, and your brain is literally making up hallucinations, and that is very different than the psychic ability. But I've never been schizophrenic, and I don't know what that looks like and how it differs, because I've only ever had the one way, if that makes sense. I'm just kind of like sharing this with you guys. I'm curious what you guys think. And I've thought about maybe talking to someone who knows something about schizophrenia, but I'm feeling like they're not going to talk to me about psychic ability. I can connect with animals. I am an animal communicator. You want to know how your dog Darla is? Okay, let's start with Darla. But yeah, I've been struggling because there's been at least 4 or 5 people in the last week who've commented on my videos who say they're schizophrenic or say that they've been to a psychiatric ward. And I'm just like, ooh, how do I handle this? Okay. Darla. And again, Taylor, I'm kind of connecting to personality first. Is she kind of an older dog? Maybe not older. Maybe that's my interpretation, but I'm feeling like she's got kind of slower energy. She's more relaxed. She's more, I don't know. She's not a loud and obnoxious, crazy dog. She's kind of like hangs out in the background, likes her routine. Does that resonate? And the reason why I ask is I want to make sure that I'm tuning into the right animal or the right person, so that I'm not giving you information about another dog or something that has no, doesn't apply at all. I feel like she might be older though, because I'm just getting like very slow energy, very lethargic, very tired. She would probably have been crazier, but she was born blind. Oh, my cat is blind in one eye. It causes some depth perception issues. Oh, towards the end. Oh, so she's passed. My bad. I was like, I feel like she's approaching death, but I was not sure how to say it. She's already dead. Gotcha. Well, she's still drawing me towards that time in her life. Very lethargic. And so she probably wants to talk about that period. She had trouble sleeping due to nose issues. Oh, poor thing. Like, she's immediately saying, thank you. You did everything for me. I think there was some doubt in your mind of if you were handling everything correctly. Because she's showing me you watching her and how torn up you were about it. And she's like upset because she's like, oh, I don't want her to be so torn up about it. She's telling me she looked worse than she felt, which is always great to hear. Yeah. I think that's all. I think she just wanted you to know that you handled things the best that you could. Maybe there was some guilt there. And she just keeps repeating, I looked worse than I was. And I don't know how she passed, but it was sort of peaceful. She's at peace now. Yeah. Definitely. And I think her passing was even peaceful. I don't know what happened there. I feel like you might have had to put her down or something. But she was just happy to be around you. There's so many emotions there. Whose emotions are those? Those are yours. What does she keep? Sorry, she's trying to say something about that time, and I keep losing it. Like she's sending me the feelings, and I'm trying to figure out what those feelings mean. It's sadness about not being able to do something. That's what she feels guilty about. She's apologizing to you for not being able to do more towards the end. And I'm telling her, you're crazy. You were towards the end of your life. Like, you don't have to say sorry. um, wasn't able to be there when she was put down. I think that's why she's immediately drawing me to that moment and being like, she needs to let this go. She needs to let this go. It's okay. It was a peaceful passing. It happened that way for a reason. You were not supposed to be there. If you were there, Taylor, you would have, and don't like take this in the wrong way, but like you would have stressed her out more. And then you would have later felt bad about putting your emotions on her in that moment. She sort of needed to be away from you when that happened so that she could be calm, if that makes sense. Thank you, Ram y'alls. Give me 1 second. I'm reading Taylor right now. She also donated, but happy to do you next. I'm just scrolling back up to your question. I think that's why I was immediately getting that lethargic feeling, is she's drawing me back to that time and she's wanting to talk about it. And to kind of jump forward to your other question, Taylor, is your grandma living? She found out something about your grandma that's caused some hurt to the family and is wondering if she has anything to say at all. It's just your phrasing. I wanted to see if she was still around or not. Because dealing with someone who's around versus someone who's crossed is very different. At least in advice. Yeah. She passed in 2005. Oh, your grandma. Okay. I just want to see if there's anything else from your doggo. I think that is what is stressing her out the most, is just relieving you from that stress. Because she's totally fine besides that. Like, I feel like she's with other animals. I don't know if you've had other animals, but that was also immediately something that came through, was like she was surrounded by other dogs, or cats or something. And I was seeing that as she was living in your home and she's around a lot of pets, but she has companionship. Like, if you're worried about that, don't worry about it. She has a lot of animal companions around her. I think those might be them. And how I sort of see it is, when animals or people cross, they like to show themselves around our relatives because it gives us comfort. They're not with them 24/7. I think they are in some ways. I think but they're also around everyone else that's up there. Everyone else is just like this big saturated room, but everybody knows everybody. There's no separation there, but to us, it brings us comfort. And so I think that's why they show us that. And I think it's also, I try not to take this from other psychics, and I tried to really be like, do I really believe this? And I really do think that you have a welcoming party when you cross, because the first people that you need to see, you need to feel safe. And you have that welcoming party of people. And so, Taylor, for you, those are part of your welcoming party that will be there. All of those animals. That's why they show up, to be like, yeah, we're all together. We'll all be here when you show up. I'm just getting chills. So I think that's confirmation that they're all together and waiting for you. Let's go over to your grandma, though. You said your grandma caused, you recently found out that something about your grandma who's passed caused some hurt to your family. She's like raising her eyebrows. That's why I raised my eyebrows. She's like, she's definitely still in denial about it all. Are you being honest, Grandma? My guides are saying yes and no. There was definitely some miscommunication that happened there, but her stubbornness, she dug her heels in, and she wasn't very good at admitting that she was wrong. So she knows she did something wrong, but she would never say it, is kind of what I'm getting. And I'm just curious, like, I'm asking, why is she still in denial this far out? And I do feel like some of the information is wrong. Some of the information that you have is wrong. Totally sounds like her. And spirits can have biases still. And that's part of that process that I talked about. As they get lighter, they will become less burdened by the things that are happening here. But I think because your family is still caught up in the drama of it, they still kind of like, curse the heavens at her. And in a way, that brings our relatives back in. Whenever we think about somebody or call them down or be like, why did you do that to me? They can be there and they can be arguing with you, and you just might not be able to see it. And so that's what I'm seeing, is like your family is still calling in that energy, stirring that negative pot, which has caused her to not move on. Nobody's forgiving anyone, and that's part of the problem. That's why she's so stubborn. But I feel like she did something really bad. I don't feel like she sees it as being wrong, but my guides are saying it was wrong, and part of her knows that, she just won't admit it. And I'm hearing also that this was something that these family members came into this life to figure out. They came in with the intention of, we're not going to get along very well because we need to work through this and we need to heal this part of ourselves. And as soon as we heal this part of ourselves, I'm just getting a huge download of information. I'm going to share it anyway. That's so interesting. So should I share it? Does it matter? What I feel like, I sort of believe, this is my personal religious beliefs, but I believe that we are all one. And when we pass on, we go to this place. And yes, we're separate, but we're actually one being. Like, we are God, or we are that collective conscience is one of the words that's often used. And I believe that we break ourselves off into fragments to sort of deal with different parts of ourselves and to evolve. And so we go and we evolve on all these little journeys and stories, and we come down here together to deal with multiple facets of ourselves. And then we come back to this place together, and we've learned more. We've become a more evolved version of this one being. My opinion, my personal opinion, not at all truth. This is just me. But what they're saying to me is, like, with your family, it's like they all had this problem before. They were not good at this. They're not good at communicating with each other, admitting that they're wrong, all of these things. being truthful is like the biggest thing. And so they wanted to come down to this world, this plane, to figure it out and go back up again and see if they got any better at it. It's sort of like how I'm seeing it. Taylor, interpret that through your language, how you want to see the world. You know, it could be that you believe in past lives, or you could believe in just one life and one life only. And maybe we all came here with a purpose to do something similar to that. But I think it's important because they're saying they don't quite have it right this lifetime. They're going to have to try it again. And I think your grandma has not moved on, which to me says she still needs another go at this. Thanks, Gabby. Sorry, I know Ramyals is next, and then Gabby. So let me wrap this up for Taylor. Sorry, Taylor gave me a large donation, so I try to give equal amount of time to donation. So I'm sorry, Taylor, that's probably not what you want to hear. But I do feel like some of your family members are equally as stubborn and equally falsifying some of the facts. So I would just step back and trust your own gut feeling about some of it, because some of it might not be completely right. Thank you, Taylor. Hey, if you guys are new here, normally we kind of do guessing games and we give out free readings. I'm towards the end of the night, so I'm I'm sort of getting to a point of signing off, but I'm wrapping up by doing donations. So if you have a donation, if you want to get it in before I get off, I sort of leave a time at the end for that. But then I'll cut it off at some time and say no more. But probably only donations, just wrapping those up from here on out. Unless you want to donate also. You're welcome, Taylor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Krabs. We're doing donations. Okay. Let's see. I'm doing Ramyals next. So 2 questions donated on Venmo. Let me just double check. I've had people be like, I donated. And then I'm like, no, you didn't. I had somebody who's like, let's collab. I was like, okay, let's do it. And then they were like, well, you need to come pay me for a reading. And I was like, red flag. Okay. Ramyals. Okay. Rebecca. Thank you. That helps. And feel free to throw up your second question to Ramyals. And then I think we have, who else was it? Anna? Somebody. Oh, Gabby. Okay. Gabby, I think you did it right. Are you Anna? Okay. Thank you, Taylor. And yeah, I do. So if you're just joining me, I do live readings Tuesdays. They're quick, very simple, surface level. So if you want more, feel free to reach out to me for a longer reading. Yes. Okay. How does Alejandro feel about me? I want to pull these cards. And then who is coming for me next in love? I think, so from the card that I pulled, that Alejandro has a hard time reading you, Rebecca. And this could be wrong. But it feels like you put up multiple versions of yourself. And maybe, that's not necessarily a negative thing. It could just be that, like, you're anxious. And, I definitely do that. Sometimes I come across more confident than I really am. And then other times when somebody meets me, I might be really down in the dumps and I'm just like, don't talk to me. I'm going to hide in my sweatshirt. You know what I mean? So other times I'm also hearing that he like totally gets the signal that you are into him. And then other times like gets the signal that you are not. And so he's just confused. He's confused by you. And so the advice there I would give is to be firm in that one kind of conviction that you have. If you're into him and you want to start a relationship, be kind of clear on that, but don't be like so overly flirty that it's not you, or, underly flirty where you're like being standoffish, if that makes sense. Do what you want. Make sure what you want is reflected in your actions. Because right now, how he feels about you, how he looks at you is like, I do not know what this woman is doing. And I mean, again, it's not like a bad thing that I'm getting. It could be that you're doing everything right and that he's just a really bad judge of character, or not even character, just bad judge of you and your feelings. But any clarity that you can give, I think will be helpful. I think he's also a little bit intimidated by you, Rebecca. I think that's definitely part of it, because there's moments where he's like, I don't know if I could do this because she's like so much better than I am. And you might not feel that way, but I wonder if he feels like he can't match your energy, if that makes sense. Okay. And then as far as who is coming in for you next in love, I pulled these cards. I actually don't want to use that card. I want to ask how you can know that it's the right person. That makes sense. How you know that it's the right person? They're going to be committed. There's not going to be any sort of like, I don't know, I'm not ready to be in a relationship right now. They're going to be like willing and ready to get in there. To get into a relationship with you. But I also pulled the Hermit card, which to me says they might be somebody that you have to kind of go after, because whoever this person is might not go out of their way to like meet you or to initiate that. And that very well could be Alejandro, is what I'm feeling. Your guides are saying it's the same person. Don't want to make any guarantees, but it's feeling pretty loud and clear the same person. But make sure that this person is committed, because I don't know, Rebecca, if you've been attracting people that are just kind of like, they sort of half give you themselves. Like, you don't need any more of that. And maybe that's also a little bit of what you put out, because I'm feeling like this is also a little bit of a prescription for you of also put that same commitment in to the relationship. Don't kind of be like, well, I don't know if this is the right person, so I'm not going to fully be vulnerable or fully give all of myself away. And I should clarify, when I say that, I mean like your heart. I definitely have commitment issues. Well, and I think, that's why this next person, the person that's right for you, kind of when I ask that question, I clarify it by saying, the right person, the person that's going to kind of create this next relationship with you that's good, is they're going to also come in and teach you that commitment. But I think this person might even like scare you a little bit, because you're like, no, I don't want this. And they might be overly committed. Like, I will be your boyfriend tomorrow and I will not see anybody for the rest of my life. And they might be like a little bit outwardly, like a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I don't want to say aggressive. It's not aggressive, but that it's like opinionated. I don't know. Which is why I kind of feel comfortable with guys who don't want commitment fast. Well, and I would say too that, a lot of your questions are kind of like about the future, and they seem very much like, what's coming in for me. But I would ask also to Rebecca, like, what do I need to work on to attract a better relationship? So focusing now on your commitment issues. You don't have to wait for that next person to come along and teach you those lessons. Sit down and figure out, why is it that I have these? What is it that I really need to pay attention to? What are really those red flags versus, okay, what is something that's really just me and I can probably let this go? And you can start working on that now. You can use a lot of the tools that I talk about on my channel. You can pull tarot cards, you can do some automatic writing, figure out what that is. And the sooner you heal that, the sooner you will attract a better committed relationship. I felt like this was Alejandro, but if this is not describing his energy, then I could be wrong, because I definitely feel like the hermit was describing this person. Like, they're not going to come out of their way to chase you, but as soon as you signal to them, yes, I'm interested, it was very clear, like, they're going to be like, I will be your best friend and your lover forever. I'm specifically thinking of a friend that I have. He's so quiet, and he never will go out of his way to tell a girl that he likes them. And he's forever single because of it. But he's such a nice guy. And when he is in a relationship, he is just like, I will give everything to you. I will give my all to you, almost to the point of it being like bad. Not saying that that's the case with this guy, but that's kind of like, I just, instead of asked what's coming for you, it's like, how will you know? How will you see it? And that's kind of like the personality, or at least the first impressions that you might get. So even though it might freak you out, maybe pay attention, because it might be it. But yeah, thank you for the donation, Rebecca. Yes, Queen. I need some water. Okay. Anna, let me know what your question is. Yeah, you can donate again. I sort of, again, like I said, I sort of let people know I'm wrapping up, but I always allow for extra time for donations. So in case we have them, we can get them in on time. You look so young and youthful. Well, thank you. I do not feel it. After having a baby, man, that makes you feel not so youthful at all. Contact your aunt. Can you give me a name, Anna? We're doing a lot of spirits tonight. Sort of makes sense. The vibe that I was feeling tonight, dealing with healing from hurt, it sort of attracts the same things. All right. I'll come back to you, Rebecca, after we get to Anna. Just wanted to know if she's doing okay. Her name's Gloria. Is she's passed, or is she alive? Probably passed. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting tired. I think I'll probably... I think I'm probably going to wrap it up after Rebecca's. Just because I know when I'm hitting a wall and I'm about to hit it, and I don't want to give bad readings. All right. And I'm not saying I'm hitting the wall yet. I can just feel it coming. Contact your aunt. Like, she's walking in, and I feel like she's very, like, not regal, but, like, I feel like she's just very mature. Like, she's, like, the model of who you would want to be. Like, who, like, specifically you, Anna. Like, she's very specifically showing me, like, her figure. Like, was she very fit? Did she exercise a lot? If not, that might be the message. Either way, there is to take care of yourself. You're beautiful. You're amazing. Like, don't beat yourself up. Don't not take care of yourself. You are a beautiful, confident woman. I feel like she was very confident. She didn't take any crap from anybody. And tell me if this resonates. I want to make sure I'm connecting with the right person. I just feel like not only was she just beautiful and determined and professional, like she just got shit done. Although she might not have had the best cards in life, like she would have had the potential for so much more had she had more money or had a better upbringing or more opportunities. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting from her. And why this is all coming through, even if it's not her, the message is you can do better than me. You can be me and more. It's like you looked up at me. She's showing me you like looking up at her with admiration. You're like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. And she's like, you can be that. You can be that for somebody else. You can be that for yourself. You can have all the things that I had in life and more. You can break those barriers that I wasn't able to break. She's very like pump you up motivational is kind of like her energy. She's like, you got this. And it's very much around health, confidence, but also like work. Like maybe you feel like you can't make that much money or you can't get a job because of where you're at in life. Maybe you don't have the money or the education or the opportunity, but she's like, yes, you do. The only thing in your way is your thoughts about yourself. And that's why I think you resonate with her so much and you liked her so much was she represents a part of you that you have a hard time emulating in your own life. I'm reading Anna. Sorry, Jordan. And then I'm going back towards Rebecca because she donated again. Was her passing peaceful? I don't. She immediately was like, "Don't. It's not important." She's like, "Let me get back on my pedestal." So I'm trying to pull back. Was her passing peaceful? She's like, "It does not matter. Even if it wasn't, it's okay now." She's like getting grumpy. She's grumpy we interrupted her. She's like, now she has like a whip. Like, she's like, you can control the people in your life better. You do not have to take their shit. I think if anything, she's just really coming through as like, I am your guide when it comes to confidence. She is just like, you can have it. The only person who's going to give it to you is you. Her passing. And to answer your question, Anna, I'm pulling back. I don't asking her guides, asking my guides. I don't necessarily think her passing was peaceful, but right now it's so far in the past. It's not something on her mind. She's okay now. This is her now, and it doesn't matter. Like, so I think the message there is to not dwell on it because she's not thinking about it, so you shouldn't either. Is kind of like the message. And let me see, how much did you? I just want to make sure. Yeah. You got it, Gabby. She is just like, seriously, I say personal cheerleader a lot, but she's like your freaking cheerleader. And and like the biggest thing too was like, not only can you be me, but I am going to force you to step up and do better than I did. She's like, that's my expectation for you. And I'm giving you that because I know you can meet it. I love her. I need this person in my life. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for the donation. Anna, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Awesome. Okay, so jumping back, those who are just joining us, we do sort of guessing games for live readings, but if somebody gives me a donation, I will make sure that they get a reading. So I am going to read Rebecca because she is the last one who sent me a donation. I am probably only going to take one more donation if it comes through. One more reading after Rebecca. So Rebecca, what's your question, Rebecca? I'm just making sure you didn't ask. I don't think you did. Yeah. And I know that my donation thing says like cards, but when it comes to spirits and connecting with spirits, I don't really pull the cards because it's a lot easier for me to just ask them what they want to say. So what I do is I just spend kind of like the equal amount of time on it, if that makes sense. Excuse me. Ooh, I like this. Which deck do I want to use? I want to use this one. What is the future of this connection? You're very intuitive. And that's because I practice a lot. I tell everybody on my channel, if you're new here, that your intuitive ability, your psychic ability is something that you practice. The more you practice it, the more you'll rely on it, the more accurate it gets. The psychic ability is like a muscle. The more you strengthen it, the more you work it out, the stronger it becomes, the more reliable it becomes. But if you don't practice it every day and do readings like several times a week, then it's not going to work for you. And that happens to me. Even when I take a break and I just don't do readings, I get really bad at it again. So I have to practice. This is one of my ways of practicing, is coming on here and doing these weekly readings. I do give out classes. Funny you ask. My whole channel is basically videos on how to connect with your psychic ability. So I do exercise videos. I also do monthly group calls where we get on and practice with each other. Same with our Facebook group. If you want to learn, we get in there, we read each other. But I have video courses that you can pay for where I teach you. But if you don't have the funds for that yet, just peruse around my YouTube channel. There's a lot of good information there. I also do coaching. So if you've taken my courses, if you're on YouTube and you're still struggling and you just want to set up a one-on-one session with me, you can do that. Thanks for asking. Gives me a good chance to plug myself. I'm feeling good about this connection with Alejandro because this card is Magic Stream, and this card is all your needs and wants are met. I am feeling like, though, kind of going back, Rebecca, to what we were talking about earlier, you might have to be very clear because he's gotten all sorts of mixed messages from you. Like, this is assuming that you go and, like, you don't have to go and be like, I love you or let's date tomorrow. But, giving some sort of clear indication that you are interested and making sure that it couldn't be interpreted as, like, something not forward is like something he could write off as, oh, maybe that wasn't what you meant. So all of this, I feel like you're taking the advice of what I gave before, being more clear, kind of going out of your way and pulling him out of that hermit hole. Assuming that that's sort of done, I asked, what's the outcome of this? And Magic Stream is a great card. It's the abundance card is what I like to call it for my deck. And it's all your needs and wants are met. And usually I pull this card reversed because everyone's so concerned about all the things they don't have. But with this card, it's like that when you're in the zone, when you feel like everything is working out perfectly, it's like you just got to check from here. You hit all the green lights on the road today. All these things. And so I think, that coming up as being in relation to your future with him, I'm getting that all good things around it. Does that mean you guys will be together? Not necessarily. It could be that you find somebody else, or, you tell this person that they like you and maybe just doesn't work out. But the future of your love life is good no matter what. And it's because you are clear about what you want, and you are clear not only with the universe, but with the person that you're interested in. Rebecca, I think you're really good at manifesting, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And you're going to have it, even if it's not with Alejandro. I feel like you're going to manifest it right away. For sure. I'm just going to see if there's anything else. And I always hesitate because I don't like telling people to just like pursue a relationship and then that could like ruin it. But that's like what I'm getting intuitively. But sometimes the message there is just to get you out of your comfort shell. Comfort shell? That's not a word. Yay! I hope so, Anna. I want to have mediumship courses eventually as well. I have so many videos, you guys, that I want to make. I have all my vlog videos, which is like 8 or 9, 10 pages long. And then I have all my video courses videos, which is like 2 pages long. And those aren't even like written out courses. They're just like courses ideas. It's ridiculous. I really recommend the book Signs to everyone interested in this topic. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Awesome. So VL, what I'm doing is I'm reading for people who donated. I'm just going to check if there's anyone else who donated. If not, I think Rebecca was my last one. So yeah, I think I'm going to be done for the night. I've been on for like 2 hours. I have to go to bed. I've got to wake up tomorrow and basically record a bunch of videos for you guys. That's my day tomorrow. Don't say sorry, because next week, next Tuesday, I will be back on. So hopefully you can catch me next time. If you guys don't want to wait, feel free to reach out to me for a reading. I have 15-minute email readings, which are kind of my cheapest, most basic. Send me a few questions for the smallest amount of money, and I'll get back to you in an email. I also have 30-minute readings, hour readings, and hour and a half readings. I also do events. Let's see, virtual events as well. But yeah, subscribe, you guys. That helps me a ton. Feel free to follow me on Facebook, on Instagram. And yeah, I've got coaching sessions as well. Every Tuesday, I will be on doing these readings. The last Tuesday of every month, we will be doing those group Zoom call practices. So sign up for next month's. That's basically, we get on like actual video call. It's not just me. We all talk to each other and practice our psychic abilities. We go through these exercises and actually have somebody that we actually get to read, and they get to read you. And it's just helpful, especially when you don't have people like in your household or even in your circle that are into this or are willing to, put in the time and the effort to, I don't know, take this seriously. And so that's kind of what those nights are for. And I also have a Facebook group. If you're really interested, you can hop in there, and I sort of force you guys to do exercises once a week. What time do you normally start the lives? That is a good question. It is anywhere between, I would say, 6 or 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you forget, I have it on my website. I kind of have it written out. I try to be consistent about it, but every night is just, it's different. Sometimes I'm late with dinner and stuff like that, but 6 to 8 Mountain Time. So you can figure that out in your time. But if you turn on the notification bell, I think you can set it so that you find out when I'm going live. I think you can change it, make it unique so that you might be notified for my videos and not the lives, or lives and not the videos. It's been a while since I've looked at it. But yeah, guys, I will see you next Tuesday. I think that's everything. And then this Friday, I will have a new video up for you guys. And then I don't know what that video is because I'm going to record it tomorrow. But next week, I'm going to have an exercise video where I teach you guys about how you can make your own intuitive calendar. So you basically use the calendar printout that I've created that's like special, like psychic-y stuff. And you can sort of guess the month ahead for yourself and use it as sort of like okay, this is what I should anticipate. This is going to be a bad day, or this is going to be a not good day. And this is going to be a day where I might get some money in, or this is a day where I'm going to fight with people. So it's helpful because as you're going through your week, you can be like, oh, I'll keep that in mind. So I basically walk you through how to go through that calendar, how to use your psychic abilities to get information. And then I'm going to give you guys the download so you can download it and print it and use it for any month. I used to actually make these calendars, and oh my gosh, I used to give them away for like $5. And I would make this elaborate calendar. It would be so detailed. And I used to do a lot of my readings through Fiverr until I realized, you know what? I am worth more than $5 for a reading. as I say that, I'm realizing I'm doing that in my YouTube live. But that's different because this is practice for me. That was me trying to actually like make money. But I used to do that for people and do those calendars. So I don't do them anymore because it takes me so much time. But I want to teach you guys how to do it. But yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you. Good night. Take care. My guides are saying pull one card for everyone that's still alive. You're in the middle of it. You're in the middle of the storm. The storm will pass. When you're in the middle of the storm, you're looking out the windows. You can't see how big it is, how long it's going to last, but it's okay. It's okay to not know what's coming because the storm always passes. It always passes and you're always okay. Why do they want me to pull this card? They're just saying that a lot of you didn't get answers and they're like, we want them to know it's okay. And to know that sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you can't see. You can't see what's going to happen, but you just have to trust. It's that basically the reading I did at the beginning. It's you can't see. But as long as your compass is pointed north, this is literally at the bottom of the deck. As long as your compass is pointed north, it's pointed towards where you want to go. Don't point your compass towards negativity, towards catastrophizing, to thinking about all the things going wrong for you, because then you'll just attract more of it. Point it towards what you want. And that will at least give you direction while you're in the middle of the storm. It'll also tell your guides, this is what I want to manifest. And yeah, all these bad things are happening, but that's okay because I know it's going to get better. And I know this is part of the process. I know this is just that down moment. Things go up and things go down. This is just one of those moments where things are down and it's okay because it's going to get better. Woohoo! Thank you. And thank you for all you newbies tonight. I guess that was kind of a great thing about switching up my nights. I normally do Thursday nights, but lots of new faces because we're trying a Tuesday night. But again, it'll be Tuesday night from here on out. I hope to see you guys all next week. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. Feel free to leave comments. A lot of the video ideas I come up with are from your guys' questions. So if you're ever confused on something, let me know. If you ever want to see something, I don't know if it was Brittany or somebody asked me about how do I string together the tarot cards to basically make a story. Like, yes, I know how to read them individually, but how do you read them all together? And I was like, that's a great question. I'll make a video on it. So I'm making a video on it tomorrow. But yeah, just let me know. I love creating content for you guys. And sometimes I forget what it's like to be in that beginner mind. And so it's helpful to have those questions come my way. Alrighty. Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic rest of your night, and I will see you next week. Bye.